Well, hello, Jacob.
Well, hello, Carrietta.
I love you like crazy.
I love you like crazy. And what are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to talk about a book that we read called The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, which is book 3 of the His Dark Materials series.
Yep. And we're going to spoil it, sort of. So we recommend, if you are interested in reading it, we recommend doing that first. But if you don't care about spoilers, you can also just listen to it.
I recommend reading it. I really highly, 100%, not even joking, just recommend reading it. Shut this off for 600 pages or so, and then listen. It's a good book.
Yeah. You can also, the audiobook is read by Philip Pullman, and I listened to that for one of my read-throughs, and that was good too. And next time we're going to talk about Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. It's 316 pages long, so if you want to get a start on that, you can do that. I also want to mention our contest where we're asking people to send in lyrics, and I'll set them to music and send you some prizes of questionable valuableness. So we're going to talk more about that end because we got an actual entry.
Woo!
Can you believe it?
I can't, actually.
It's crazy.
I thought it was never going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's by someone who doesn't actually listen to the podcast, but that's okay.
I don't care. It's an entry.
Yeah. And also, if you want me to nag you about how you should enter, you can follow the Twitter account LoveYAPod, and I post haikus there telling people to enter there, and you can see what stupid haikus I've come up with. I'm really selling this well.
You are.
And we have lots of other exciting stuff coming too, but I think we should just talk about the book first.
I think we should.
So I have a question about this book.
Yeah.
So this book is really fucking great, right?
Oh, this book is really fucking great. This book is heartbreakingly beautiful in so many ways. And why don't you talk about them so I don't just ramble?
Oh, my Lord. Well, one of the things about... So, like, when we talked about the second book, which is name I've forgotten already.
Subtle Knife.
The Subtle Knife, that's the one. Like, that book had a lot of moving parts, and I didn't really feel like they all fit together. But this one, it all just kind of works somehow. There's
I think Subtle Knife sort of sets us up for Amber Spyglass in a way that you don't understand until you're done with the book, and you're like, oh, everything made sense.
Right. So there's like this whole thing, you know, like there's this point where Lyra, you know, like both Lyra and Will have people who have died that they have regrets about. Lyra's friend Roger, who she feels kind of responsible for the death of, and then Will's father, who he met, you know, very briefly before he died, I think, right?
Yeah. It basically was like he sees him, recognizes him as his dad, and his dad dies.
Yeah. So they're like kind of talking about that, and they're like, so what happens when you die? And they're like, well, I think you go to another place. And then Lyra's like, well, can you use the knife to get to that place? And Will's like, I don't know, ask your alethiometer. And she does. And she's like, yeah, we totally can. And he's like, well, let's do that then. And then they totally do. And then, so that's like this whole crazy thing. Like, one of the things, I mean, obviously I'm rambling all over the place myself, but one of the things that I really liked about the book is that there's like that plot, which is the most dramatic, crazy thing ever. They're literally going to the land of the dead to create a hole back to the real world so that the dead can escape.
Oh, they are absolutely doing that. Yeah.
And then there's this whole other plot where, geez, I'm looking at my notes and there's so many.
There's Mary Malone.
Yeah. Where Mary is basically in this strange world of creatures that are on wheels, and she's basically doing science. That's her situation there. She's studying them. She's studying the world. She's creating the Amber Spyglass so she can study it better.
She's an ex-nun doing awesome science in a strange world.
Right. And that storyline is given equal weight as the going to the underworld plotline. And it seems to me like Philip Pullman really expects the reader to think that these are equally interesting and equally important. And I totally did. I totally bought that. I was like, oh, well, what's Mary doing now? This is awesome. And then, oh, let's see what's going on in the world of the dead. And it's kind of it's quite a trick, I feel like, to do that and pull it off.
But I was totally enthralled. I'm like, wow, he's not only a good, world builder in Lyra's world, but he's also building this completely different world of these animals with wheels and trunks, and their skeletons are different, but yet I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving it because it was interesting to me.
Yeah.
The only thing that is never interesting to me in any of his books are really anything about Lyra's parents, because they're horrible people and I want them dead. Oh, wait.
I don't know. Do they die, or are they just falling forever?
I think they're falling forever. And I have a question for you about falling forever.
Yes.
So here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
If you're falling forever,
yes,
does it eventually get boring?
Yeah, I think it would, particularly if you know that you're never going to land.
You're never going to land. You're never going to land. I'd say, maybe you scream for a day or two, and then you start playing word games with the people you're falling with.
Sure.
And then that gets boring, and then who knows what happens next.
Maybe you create kind of like those... if you have enough time, you could make like those flying squirrel suits that people use out of your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. And then you still can't get out, but you can at least glide around a little.
Yeah, but how boring will that get to fall forever? And there's a lot of forever in this book.
Also, like they're not, so it's Mrs. Coulter and Lord Asriel are falling, but Metatron is also falling with them, right?
Yes, he is.
So there's got to be some pretty awkward conversations going on there, right?
I think so. Like, I thought you were going to bone me.
Yeah. And then we're going to be here for a while. Like,
you might as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's also going to be some weird sex, some awkward conversations. And word games.
There has to be fanfic about this someplace, right?
I think we just wrote it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just sort of breaks my brain, the whole idea of falling forever. And so, and then if you think about the people who were in the underworld, in the land of the dead, they were there forever. Some of them much, much longer than others, but definitely forever. But for them, forever ended when Lyra was just like, hey, we're gonna get out of the land of the dead, right? Cool, okay, cool. And then they all got to be part of the star stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mrs. Coulter and Lord Asriel, that's his name, right? They don't get that shit.
No. No, it seems like anyone who goes into the abyss gets kind of wiped out somehow.
Yeah.
Because that's the concern, right? Is that all of the dust is going to end up falling into the abyss and all kind of consciousness will vanish from the world.
Yeah, so that means that they've got to close up the abyss. What happens when they close the abyss?
You mean what happens to people who are in it?
Yeah.
Sucks to be them, I think.
Sorry, Metatron. You're stuck in the abyss.
Too bad you sucked so much. I liked that. The big kind of inciting, or not inciting, the big kind of motivator for the first two books is basically that Asriel wants to kill God. And that's what kind of opens up the pathways between the worlds and whatnot. And man, he just really wants to kill God a whole lot, doesn't he?
He sure does.
And then in this book, God dies, and it's basically like
it's a completely non-event.
Yeah.
Like it took me a second to realize like that basically Lyra killed God.
Or Will did, right?
Will did.
Using the knife.
Because it was just like, oh, wasn't it the dude in the box was God?
Yeah.
They let him out, he disintegrated, and they're like, oh, well, that was a thing. So wait, that was motherfucker.
Yeah, and the thing, like, you know, I kind of picture like Lyra or Will later looking back on that and being like, huh, I wonder what that was about. You know, like they don't even know who that was or what was going on.
No, they have no idea. And that's, you know, that's lovely, but also, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I really enjoyed that. Like, you know, God's like, everyone like the church, everyone involved in the church thinks that God is super important. But like basically the most important thing in the universe is keeping Lyra safe so that she can, get the dead out and what? Because they don't even cure. Well, I guess ultimately there's an idea that after the book ends, each of them in their own worlds is going to, you know, make the worlds better.
Well, I think that, you know, Lyra falling in love.
Yes.
Was like the other, like, okay, so she let the dead out, cool, but the dust was still going crazy, so things were still chaotic. You know, the wheel pod trees weren't going to be able to grow. Like all these other things were happening because the dust was going fucking batshit crazy. And then Lyra made out with a boy, and everything was okay again.
Yes, but they still had to cure all of the cuts in the.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because if you don't do that, then, you know, all the dust is going to go batshit crazy again.
Yeah.
But the fact that they at least like were like, okay, the dust isn't going crazy. Now we can fix shit. Cool. And it's just because a 12-year-old girl got her Mac on.
Yeah, well, a 12-year-old girl getting her Mac on is pretty fucking powerful, you know?
It's something else.
Man, have I ever said anything creepier in this podcast? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yes, it's a challenge.
This is a YA podcast. I'm sure other creepy shit's going to come out of our mouths at some point.
Oh, boy. Oh, and we get Yorick Bernison is back.
Yeah.
Who is basically...
So how is his... Is it Bjornson? How do you pronounce that bullshit?
Oh, I don't know.
Armored Bear.
Yeah. Yorick. The king of the bears.
Yeah.
He was much missed in the last book. We're glad he's back.
He's awesome, and I love him, and I love his weird nose, and I think he is a special dude. He got bested by Will, and I like that he's, you know, I don't know, the strong, silent type. He's a gentle, giant, armored bear. And I want to snuggle him like, real bad. There's some things I definitely want to talk about. And, you know, I'm going to skip around a lot because what I've got in my head right now is the ending.
Yeah, okay.
And it's actually beyond the ending.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we talked a little bit just a second ago about, you know, they're going to go back to their own worlds and change the world and do amazing things. But one of the things is, you know, Will has, who knows what he's going back to, and who knows what Mary Malone is going back to. Like, but we get to see what Lyra goes back to, and we know, okay, Lyra's going to be okay. But one thing that sort of weirds me out about Lyra's being okay, she goes back to Jordan College. She talks to the president of the school or whatever his title was. And he's just like, fuck it. I'm going to pay for this chick to just get some schooling. But I just can't picture Lyra Silvertongue, you know, our Lyra, going to an all-girls boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't see it. I'm like, I see her getting her fur hat on and going straight up north and fighting some seals. But I don't see her putting on a school uniform and studying. I just don't see it. And I know, she was like, oh, Pan, you're going to fuck this shit. But we're going to do it.
Yeah. Well.
Like, really? I know you gotta, but can't you do that on a boat? Like, can't you study the alethiometer, like, while exploring at 12 or 13 or however old you are now?
She kind of wants to go back to the gypsies.
Yeah, and yeah, she wants to go back up north. She wants to go back with the Egyptians. She wants to go, a lot of different places. And I'm like, really, Lyra girl? Like, I don't see you going to an all-girls boarding school to study. I don't see it. I see Will and Mary going back and just their lives being completely ruined.
Well, right.
But Lyra's going to be okay, and Lyra's going to study in an all-girls boarding school, but who knows what the fuck's going to happen with Will and Mary.
I mean, I think we're supposed to believe, although the details are vague, that on both worlds, I mean, the last line of the book is, then we can get going on the real work, which is building the Republic of Heaven, I think, which I didn't even understand the significance of the first time I read, or maybe even the second time. But, that's in opposition to the Kingdom of Heaven, right?
Yeah.
So this is heaven by the people. And so Lyra's going to work on that, and it seems like Mary and Will are working on something similar, and also a way of communicating between the planes so that it can spread, hopefully, throughout all the different, this idea can spread around the universe or the universes. So I think that's where we are supposed to hope things are going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this book was hard to read at times because I'd read it before and I sort of knew what was going to happen. I knew that Lyra has to live in her world and Will has to live in his, because otherwise you get sick and you age quickly if you're in a world that you weren't born in. And so they knew that they couldn't watch the other one crumble by the age of 20 and die in front of them. So they knew that they had to separate. And reading this book and watching, these two strong kids like battle everything, and knowing that they're going to get ripped apart like Lyra and her demon did. Like, I was just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, but they're going to go and they're going to sit on the same goddamn bench every year to be near each other. And I'm tearing up just thinking about it, because holy shit, that's some heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had weird dreams last night because I had finished the book again last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I had these dreams like, what if they had like one little window, like a tiny window where they could like write notes to each other? And like, would you eventually say like, I can't write any more notes because I can't live my life with I'm just obsessed with the next note. Like, why is my brain even thinking this like when I'm sleeping? But I was trying to figure out a way in my dreams to keep Will and Lyra together.
Yeah, right. I mean, it doesn't. They say we can have one whole and that'll be okay as long as we make sure that people are becoming kind of more conscious and smart. Then that will make up enough of a difference that the one whole won't make it much. But we can't have two, which seems a little bit arbitrary.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can have one for all the ghosts to come out of.
But then the real reason, or maybe not the real reason, but another reason seems to be that they're like, that they want Lyra and Will to be concentrating on their own projects and not trying to figure out, not constantly going through the hole or trying to find the hole or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
sad times.
Yeah, it is sad times. And the other thing I'm thinking of is, of course, one of them's going to die first. And so do they wait in the land of the dead for the other one, or do they go?
Oh, they would wait. Yeah, no question.
I would think so. But also, at some point they're going to get married. They're going to have kids. But they would still wait for each other?
I think so.
I think so, too. I think they'd hang out with the harpy, who Lyra gave a name to, whose name I don't remember, so I'm just going to continue calling her No Name. They're just going to chill out with the harpy and tell stories.
Mm-hmm. True stories.
True stories, because that's going to make them happy.
Mm.
So I'm just rereading the part where the ghosts escape. And it's pretty. And the other thing is the ghosts escape, and where they go is the world with is it Mulefa? With the wheel pod animals?
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
So the ghosts escape into the Mulefa world and then disintegrate. And it just so happens that of all the possible worlds, it just happens to be the world that Mary is in.
Well,
so
yeah, that bothered me a little, but then I remembered that Mary was guided to that world by whatever the thing is, the I Ching. So it's not a coincidence. Like, it was supposed to, it was set up to work out that way. Yeah. I mean, that may or may not be a particularly satisfying answer to that, but that's why that happened.
So for a book that I think of as an atheist book,
it's not,
there's a lot of God in here.
Oh yeah.
So there's, in this world, there are angels, there is God, there is, Metatron, there are ghosts, there are, lots of things. And so while, now that Lyra has helped the ghosts, they disintegrate in the sort of way that a lot of other atheists might think, like, oh, you die, you disintegrate, you're nothing. And so they become nothing. But until they get there, they're still, ghosts. And so for a book that I think of as, sort of anti-religion in a lot of ways, it's also incorporates so much religion that I'm not exactly sure anymore exactly where it falls on the spectrum. What do you think?
I think that it's not so much atheistic as anti-organized religion, and specifically anti-organized Christianity. Mm-hmm. Like, the God in this book is the Christian God.
Oh, yeah. And, the angels are exactly what a Christian person would imagine an angel to be, young.
The angels are all like dumb jerks. It's kind of amazing.
They're all dumb jerks, but I mean, they're all pretty.
Yeah.
They all, they all also get it on with each other, which is a thing.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do?
You got all eternity hanging out with
might as well fall in love with an angel.
Yeah, these other douchebags. Yeah, the author tries to tell us on several occasions that the angels are really smart, including Metatron.
But he's so easily duped.
Yeah, so I just kind of ignored that stuff because
I remember even thinking, like, when Mrs. Coulter was, basically trying to, like, hit on Metatron so he does what she wants. She's just like, I thought he was supposed to be smart.
Yeah.
He's just thinking with his angel dick.
Yeah. Well, he used to be a human, so he's thinking about, what used to be his human dick, I guess. lo these thousands of years ago. Yeah. So anyway, so I think it's the idea that there are spirits and angels and souls. Those are all in the books as real things. I mean, not that you have to believe that Philip Pullman believes that everything in the book is real, because that's ridiculous. But and I mean, even God is real, although not exactly what he's sold as.
Yeah.
But the organized church, is bureaucratic and evil, and also like, I mean, the thing that really strikes me about both the church and about Lord Asriel's operation is their willingness to completely, basically destroy the world in order to accomplish what they think is right.
I've never known any religious person to be like that.
Yeah. So at the end of book 1, Asriel makes this giant hole between worlds that I mean, this isn't addressed at the end of the series, but Lyra's world is in pretty rough shape. The North Pole is no longer the North Pole. The bears are all out looking for a new place to live, and things are pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then the church tries to destroy Lyra with some weird kind of reality bomb, which is what opens the chasm into the abyss or whatever. Mm-hmm. The chasm into the abyss. I don't think that's. I think that Philip Pullman may have done a better job of describing what that was.
It was a rift, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. Rift is definitely a better word.
Anyway,
so I think I guess I would say that Pullman sort of wants you to be skeptical and to think for yourself, but he doesn't necessarily. I mean, he's probably written about this, and if I had done more research, I would know. But he thinks that knowledge is a good thing, experience is a good thing. In particular, kind of sexual awakenings and feelings are not evil. And you should embrace all that, and that organizations that tell you not to do that stuff are wrong and stupid and should be at best ignored and at worst destroyed.
And that kids are smart and angels are stupid, dumb jocks.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, it was fine with me that the angels were dumb. I felt like he didn't have to say that they were smart, because I was like, these guys are just stupid jerks. Like, even the ones that are on the side of good are kind of dumb and jerks. Can I complain about something a little bit?
If you must.
If I must. This isn't even really a serious complaint. This is just like me. Like, this book is 600 pages long.
This book is so long. So I've been reading. So I'm reading it as the trilogy anthology on my Kindle, and I'm like, oh look, I'm on page 900. Great. How many more do I have to go? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those situations where it's, each book is longer than the last one. And the last one is pretty long. So if I were an editor, if I were Philip Pullman's editor, I might say, this whole assassin subplot doesn't really seem to go anywhere. Can we just get rid of it?
I kind of liked the assassins, though.
Okay.
At first, you're just like, wait, there are these tiny little dudes and they ride around on dragonflies.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant Father, what's his name? Father Gomez.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what? You're right. Take out Father Gomez.
Yeah. He
added unnecessary drama, and then he just dies.
Right. He just gets killed. And again, Lyra and Will are never really aware of it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of the preemptive absolution is like a cool thing, which you could totally see happening. And maybe, in fact, does happen in some religions, but...
I bet it does.
So, I don't know. I guess I don't really have anything to say about it other than don't really need that guy.
Yeah, you're right. But the other little assassin spies, I like those.
Yeah.
There's something about them. Like at first you're like, oh God, these guys are annoying. They're just going to follow them around and they're going to hide. But I don't know. You kind of grew to like them. Maybe even love them.
Mm-hmm.
The Galavespians.
Right.
They don't live long, but they've got poison spurs in their feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's kind of weird to see these like warriors who tag along with the main characters and then die of old age.
Yeah.
But again, that's not a complaint. That's just an interesting thing that Philip Pullman decided to do.
So there's other things that I liked about this book is that they did, a lot of tying up of things. And so, not only do we meet some of the characters that we lost in the first book, but we also get to see, how the witches progress. So we see Serafina Pekkala again. And it's just, I like that, I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like completely stupid right now. Mm-hmm. He's just built this giant world, but he didn't leave anybody out.
Mm-hmm. And
I liked that. Like, it's not that he, introduced a character and you never heard of them again. She, either Lyra mentions them again, like when she was talking to the Harpies. She brought like her true stories and her, all those kids that she would fight with. I'm like, oh yeah, like that was her life. And how fucking different it is right now, even after just a short time. But I like the fact that, even though this book was so ridiculously long and the series was so involved, nobody got lost in the shuffle. Like, I didn't have to go back and like think like, wait, who's that guy again? Or who's that? Because I think each book also could stand on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, I sound like an idiot because I'm just talking because I just really like this book and it made me cry and it made me happy and it made me wistful in so many ways. Like, man, I wish I could have gone on bitchin' adventures with bears when I was that age.
Yeah.
I don't actually wish I had gone on bitchin' adventures with bears. I would have died immediately.
Sure.
And I also, I think a lot of things about this book and all of them are good.
Yeah. A thing that, so I feel like this is the book where people kind of change sides in various ways. This is one, like, a lot of Philip Pullman's characters are kind of painted in black and white, without a lot of shades of gray. Like, you meet a character and you immediately know, okay, this is not a good person, and that remains true, but except that, as the book goes along, they and they figure out what's going on. They kind of come to grips with what's important to them, and they make choices that you might not expect. And you already talked about that with the Galavespians, who you meet, and they just seem like, these spies who are going to cause trouble. But by the end, Will and Lyra and the readers, you and me, are like, you know what? These guys are okay,
Yeah.
And we're sad that they die and so on.
But there are other characters who do make changes, but it's not enough. And I still don't give a shit if they die.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Mrs. Coulter.
Right.
So Mrs. Coulter, at the beginning of the book, has Lyra basically drugged in a cave. Well, not basically. She is drugged in a cave.
That plan, I mean, the best I can say about it is that I don't necessarily think that Mrs. Coulter thinks it makes much sense either. It was just kind of the best she could come up with at the time. But her plan is basically to keep Lyra drugged for the next couple of years until she's safely through puberty. Is that your understanding as well?
That is 100% my understanding. And the problem with that is...
It's stupid?
Well, A, it's stupid, and B, she's still going to go through puberty.
Right.
So, I mean, does it have to be like immediately upon, her first period, she changes the world, or, can it wait a year or two? Is she going to keep her drugged forever? Until she goes into menopause?
Does Pantalaimon fix on a shape while they're both unconscious? That doesn't seem right.
No, he doesn't fix on a shape until the very end of the book.
Right, I know, but like, is that part of the plan? Like, because it seems like that's kind of the defining moment where you become an adult, is when you're demons.
Yeah.
I finally screwed that up. Is when your demon takes its final shape.
But he didn't take his final shape until after she was back at Jordan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that can't even be true, because the dust got fixed before Pantalaimon did.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm right. So anyway, Mrs. Coulter's all like, but I love my daughter. Bitch, really? Are you sure? Because you're still using her for your own nefarious, reasons.
Yeah.
You're still using her to have dust disappear, or you're still, no matter what, you keep saying how much you love your daughter, but you're still manipulating things using her. So the fact that suddenly you feel this strong emotion over Lyra, I don't believe it for 1 second that she wouldn't still sell Lyra out in a heartbeat if it got her more power.
Yeah, that part of the book also has like a sort of subtle example of Mrs. Coulter's kind of casual cruelty and evil, which is, the little girl goes to the monk to get the antidote. And it's sort of casually mentioned there that the monk's demon is a bat. And then, so then they go back, and the little girl goes to talk to Coulter, and there's this section where it says, the golden monkey drew out the last of the porcupine quills and said something to the woman, who reached up to snatch a roosting bat from the cave ceiling. The little black thing flapped and squealed in a needle-thin voice that pierced Emma, the girl, from one ear to the other, and then she saw the woman hand the bat to her demon. She saw the demon pull one of the black wings out and out and out, till it snapped and broke and hung from a white string of sinew, while the dying bat screamed and its fellows flapped around in anguished puzzlement. So I took that. First of all, I mean, that's a mean thing to do to a bat in general. That's just horrible.
That's just horrifying.
But I felt like that was the monk. I thought that the monk was killed right there. That he had sent his bat to follow her.
Do you think that the monk, did he say that his demon could travel further?
He didn't, but like witches can do that. I didn't think it was out of the question.
Yeah, you're probably right. I missed it entirely, but it wouldn't, I wouldn't put it past Mrs. Coulter to do that, because if the monk helped the girl and she knows it or suspects it, yeah, she's going to take some revenge.
Yeah.
She's a bad person.
Yeah.
Lord Asriel, I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's just as awful as she is, where they're both just in it for themselves and they really don't care what happens. But then they kiss and fall into an abyss together. So yeah, awkward conversations are going to ensue.
Yeah. Why was this a good idea? Seems like there was another thing that would have a better outcome for us.
Yeah.
Or for me. I don't actually care about you that much. That's what they're saying to each other.
Yeah. Can they bash themselves against the Abyss rocks or something. Like, you got to make it end somehow.
Well,
you're awful people, but
think about this, Carrie. They're going to starve to death, right?
Will they?
I would think so.
I don't know. There's some magical shit down there.
Well, you have a point there. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me talk about this. So,
okay. While you talk about that, I'm going to send you a picture of my cat.
Oh my God. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be something else.
So the harpies are an example of like creatures who initially seem totally foul and horrible and then end up, being on Lyra and Will's side and, and helping out. And it's, and eventually they're gonna, okay, let me look at this. Okay, that cat is the cutest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Anyway, so y'all, I just sent Jake a text with a picture of my demon, who is my cat Shuby. And my cat Shuby has his tongue out, and it's really freaking cute. So you're missing out on adorableness.
I will verify all of that. So anyway, so the harpies are another kind of extreme example of they just seem so horrible and terrible when we first meet them, and then they're kind of sympathetic by the end. Partly because they're stuck in the world, they've been there for thousands of years apparently themselves and been stuck there, and
it's boring as fuck.
It's boring. There are all these people there that just want to lie to them all the time, and yeah. So when they're given something positive to do, they're like, oh yeah, okay, we can do this, and we'll get a little respect for our work, which currently we do not.
Really, anything for a raise.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Well, I think that to begin with, you're getting a new title, but you're not necessarily getting a raise right away, but it'll be something for the resume.
I don't know. I think it actually is a raise, because I think the what they said was the truth is more nourishing.
Yes, that's true.
So if they get one person telling these awful lies and they're like, that's okay. But then one person tells them a really good story, like, oh, I'm so full, life is awesome. That's a raise for a harpy.
Yep, fair enough.
And the second that, Lyra told them a story and it was a lie and they started yelling, lies, 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 I'm like, oh, bitch, they're going to all want the truth and it's going to be awesome. And I was right. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole series, it's Lyra telling stories. And so I knew eventually she'd have to really tell her story.
Yeah.
It was going to be a good one. And then one part I liked was Mary Malone told her story.
Yes.
And it was lovely. She had been a nun and she had been expected to be a certain way and do a certain thing, even though she had some, surprising flexibility as a nun where she could study science and go on, lectures and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Her whole story about, eating the marzipan.
Yeah.
It was really, really touching and lovely and sort of, of course, leads to Lyra going, oh, kissing sounds cool. But it was still just there's a lot of touching moments in this book, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Mary, she's just a great...
She's a good egg.
Right. One of the things that kind of struck me on rereading the book is when she's up in the trees and she's, her spirit or whatever is kind of getting blown away by the breeze in the dust. So she's separated from her physical self and she has to find a way to hold on to it and get back. And so it describes the things that she thinks of to remember to keep that connection to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the touch of her friend Atal's soft-tipped trunk caressing her neck, the taste of bacon and eggs, the triumphant strain in her muscles as she pulled herself up a rock face, the delicate dancing of her fingers on a computer keyboard, the smell of roasting coffee, the warmth of her bed on a winter night. And those are all just like such, I mean, after these books where there are all these crazy images and things, just to have these really homey things. Admittedly, one of them is this kind of weird elephant alien creature. But bacon and eggs and coffee and a computer keyboard. It's just, I feel like that's, yeah, I just like that person. I just really like that.
So yeah, in a book where, all these horrible and amazing things happen, there's still pleasure in the simple things. And
yeah.
And I just love this series, and I'm sad to see it go.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're winding down a bit. Is there anything else?
I think so too. I think I'm also winding down. Like, I feel tired too.
I do just want to mention that when Will and Lyra accidentally grab each other's demons, it just seems super kinky.
I think that is intended to be super kinky because, like I said a few minutes ago, you're not supposed to touch another person's monkey.
Yep.
And they grabbed each other's demons, and oh Lord.
Oh man.
Yeah, like everybody blushed, the demons ran away. It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing. Oh boy. All right. Okay. So let's see. Do we want to do let's do the outro and then the intro, I guess?
Sure, I'll just follow your lead.
Oh my God. I don't know what my lead is. My brain is gone. Okay. Well, so that's our discussion of The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. And we both loved it, and you should read it if you haven't. Like there are always plot spoilers in these things, but I can't imagine you understood what we were talking about at all.
Like, so, God's penis.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should read the book. The series is the His Dark Material series. Hopefully you've already read Golden Compass and Subtle Knife, because we already did those episodes. So you're just rounding things off with Amber Spyglass.
Yeah.
And loving every second of it, I promise. Okay, I can't promise, but I can certainly hope.
And what do we have coming up next?
One of my favorite YA horror books, Anna Dressed in Blood. It's super fucking gory. It's kind of creepy. And I love it.
Yeah, I have not read, I don't think I've read any YA horror. So certainly not for this podcast. So I'm looking forward to this, ?
I think will like it. I think you have a stronger stomach than you think you do.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll be fine. And I think you'll find the book to be enjoyable.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? Oh,
you're coming to visit.
I am coming to visit. That's going to happen in May.
That's going to happen kind of soonish. I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if we're going to do Anna before then or if that's what we'll do in May, but one way or another.
We'll figure it out. Anna's another quick read. So, I mean, I've read it enough where I could probably do that podcast tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll try to get that in there before that visit and then do a totally another book. This is all discussion that Carrie and I probably should be having between ourselves.
Yeah.
But
this may or may not be edited too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to visit. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to see Carrie.
Yes.
I'm going to eat barbecue.
Hell yeah, you are.
I'm going to play the guitar for Carrie's son.
Yes.
Who is super adorable.
He's really cute. He's going to be, 2 years and 4 months?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't say a freaking word, but loves to dance. And so he's looking forward to hearing some songs. Do we have any contest stuff coming out?
Oh my gosh, Carrie, do we ever?
How was that segue?
That was great. So first of all, someone actually entered the contest.
That's what I've heard.
and they sent some lyrics in, and they're great. And so we definitely will have a winner. But I would like to encourage other people to send in lyrics and songs, and we'll pick winners, and I'll record them, and we'll send you stuff. We've got these prizes, which are books and DVDs that we've signed that we did not write, but we did sign them, that have been covered on this podcast. And I'm going to send you. I'll include some other things that I have that are nice that you will want, I think.
Yeah, there's stuff. I mean, although I might be biased, but Awoken is really the greatest YA book of our time.
Awoken is great.
So if you haven't read it, I mean, this is one way to get your mitts on a glorious piece of literature.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna hijack this for a moment to go to reader mail because I have some reader mail that is relevant. This is from Sarah Redacted. And it is regarding Vampire Academy, which is the other prize, is a Blu-ray of Vampire Academy. Sarah Redacted writes, "You and Carrie are insane. I am 6 minutes into Vampire Academy and turning it off. It is that awful. It feels like there should be a Riftrox. I still wouldn't watch it, though." So, an endorsement from someone who knows. Yeah, that movie isn't great, but
it's real bad. I mean, we three of us sat through the whole thing. So
yes,
another Sarah Redacted. I'm really sorry. But we did it because it was for the greater good.
Right. And if you don't want to watch it yourself, maybe you can inflict it on a friend or enemy who you don't like very much and who you think will watch it. But I definitely will include other things that are actually not terrible. Anyway, to return to the contest. So we have an entry. This is my proposal to you, Carrie. Why don't we announce the winners in the episode we record while I'm visiting you?
That sounds perfect. So y'all just have a few more weeks to get in your entries. And I'm sure Jacob has been hounding you, not only with his glorious haikus, but really just poking at you with sticks.
I have been. Yeah, we should talk about the haikus too. So we have a Twitter account at LoveYAPod. And at a friend's suggestion, I've been frequently posting haikus to try to convince people to enter this contest. Yeah, it helps if I spell my own account name correctly. LoveYAPod. Let's see. I wrote one. Want a funny book or a mediocre film? Of course, who wouldn't? If you write a song, then I'll sing it back to you. Reciprocity. There are a ton of these. You can follow me to see them, follow the account to see them, or just go to the Twitter account and look at them there. And I wrote a whole ton of them, so there's no shortage.
Oh, that's wonderful. What are we going to do when the contest ends?
Well, we'll stop talking about it, which I think is one thing that...
everyone's a winner.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking to me about the book, Carrie. It's one of the things I look forward to more than anything else.
Aw, you're one of my favorite people in the world, Jacob, and I'm glad that we have this special time together.
Me too.
How's that for cheesy?
Sincerity. Well, yeah. No, Jesus, what is wrong with me?
Yes. You're tired and you haven't eaten any hot chicken today. I
haven't. Oh, man, hot chicken. Well, Carrie, I love you like crazy.
Hot chicken is good.
I love hot chicken like crazy. I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Give me a call when you get back. Hey there.
Hey.
LoveYLikeCrazy.com.
Owen is at an age where, he's 4. So he understands that jokes exist, but not exactly how they work. which is my favorite thing.
Do you have an example of one of his jokes?
Yes. So
I can't wait.
I'll be Owen and you be me. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Knock knock. Who's there?
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow. Who?
Moo.
Awkward.